What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Smooth Vision channel. 3 weeks down in the NFL. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, man. We started off Thursday night in a battle of teams that needed a win. The Jaguars finally got their win over the Titans 20-7 in a surprising game where Gardner Minshew actually rose a little bit there. He had a bit of shine. Still a third string quarterback, well, really second string technically, behind Nick Foles. So not enough to say whether or not he's going to be good, but hey, a win's a win. Let's see what he could do next week. As for the Titans, terrible showing. They should have been able to beat this guy up, but instead they let Minshew just throw all over him and be one hell of a good game manager and cruise to a 20-7 win. Moving on, surprisingly, the Bills are actually undefeated this time around. They are now 3-0, 21-17 over the Bengals. Bengals have now dropped 3 games in a row. Not good at all, especially for a team that's rebuilding. And the Bills have now essentially won all 3 games to open up the season, but they go up against the New England Patriots next week, and to be honest, it's probably going to be an L, but you never know. Considering how good they played, we might see an upset. Moving on, we had the Miami Dolphins just get ran over, trampled, skull-dragged, and curb-stomped by the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd week in a row, they've been completely destroyed. They've only put up a total of 16 points, 10 points in week 1 against the Ravens when they lost by 49, 0 points week 2, and now 6 points week 3. It's evident the Dolphins are done. They're looking forward to the year 2020 because this season's not going to be kind to them. As for the Cowboys, they roll once again, 3-0 to start off the year. Pretty good considering the way their division is right now. The way things are shaping up, the Cowboys could be in control, but you never know. We still have plenty of season left, but so far so good for Dallas. And then we move on to Green Bay, where the Packers kicked the Broncos in the face 27-16. Packers once again rolling 3-0. They're sitting atop of the division right now, and they're looking good. They're sitting pretty. And the way the division is kind of shaping out, it looks like it's going to be a competitive year for the Packers and for the Vikings. Maybe Detroit can pull itself out of the shadows, but you never know. And then, of course, with Chicago, all comes down to the kicker. But right now, Green Bay looking dominant, and of course, Denver. I mean, come on, 0-3 under Joe Flacco as the brand new quarterback. All I'm going to say is this. The team is too good for them to look the way they look. Under Flacco, they look flat, they look disorganized, and quite frankly, they don't look like a team that's going to win. They don't look like winners. And as long as you have a quarterback like Flacco that's manning the helm, sorry Broncos, but you're not going to get anywhere. 0-3 to start the year. I don't see positive things for you next week when you face Jacksonville, but we'll see, because Jacksonville's kind of skidding along themselves. And then we move on to Indianapolis, where the Colts have finally won a game for the first time in 5 home games. They finally won a home game, 27-24 against the Falcons in a close-knit one. Colts surprisingly 2-1. I thought they started off 0-3 without Andrew Luck, but Jacoby Brissett able to man the ship and at least able to do some decent game managing, and in this situation it really paid off. The Falcons should have had a win here. The fact that they didn't is probably going to say a lot about their season, but you know what? Still plenty of weeks left to go, plenty of season left to go. Only week number 3, but still, this one's going to come back to haunt the Falcons a bit. The Falcons are probably going to be kicking themselves later on in the year thinking, damn, we should have won this one. And in the game of the weekend, the score is actually a lot closer than the game itself. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 33-28. The Chiefs are now 3-0 on the season as predicted. They started off hot and just kept going. They never let their foot off the gas pedal. As for the Ravens, they had a chance to make a statement in this game, and they did by being able to at least make it somewhat of a close game, down the stretch, but you could tell they had some issues defensively and even on the offense with the aggressive 2-point conversions to start off the game, going for it on 4th down on pretty much every drive. Harbaugh doing some unnecessary flexing when it's not called for, not necessary. Once again, shoots his own team right in the foot due to his own ego. Hopefully his own ego is not the reason why the team doesn't make the playoffs this year. And if it is, they may want to consider moving in a different direction for head coach. As for the Chiefs, they are going to roll into next week. Honestly, I don't even know who they face yet, but I can tell you now, just watching the Chiefs on offense put in work, they're going to be a problem for everybody. I don't know too many defenses that can stop Mahomes in that passing attack, but it's going to take somebody extraordinary to do it. And we move along to Minneapolis, where the Vikings kicked the Raiders right in the teeth, 34-14. Wasn't even a close game. The Raiders, they were not in it at all. The Vikings essentially used this as more of a glorified practice in a way. Although this does say a lot about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins as a quarterback is, well, I'll put it to you like this. He's an okay game manager, but don't put the game in his hands, because if that's the case, then the Vikings are not going to go anywhere. Kirk Cousins is serviceable, but not worth the money he's paid, and certainly not the guy you want to build your franchise around. Great guy, but quarterback, not so much. Now we go to New England, where, quite frankly, this game just wasn't even fair. This wasn't even fair. The fact that this was even a sanctioned game is a bit of a miracle, because the Jets had no chance. They are now 0-3. They got skull-dragged by the Patriots 30-14. The Patriots, of course, with a very easy game, very easy win, and a lot of people are saying an easy schedule, and on paper it certainly looks that way. But no surprise here. The story here is that the Jets have no hope, and the Patriots have all the hope in the world. Even without Antonio Brown, they can still do very well. They didn't even need the guy. And with that being said, we go to Philly, where, quite frankly, at least in my eyes, an upset occurred. But this game right here, the Eagles and Lions, it tells you how much the Eagles are banged up. They lost a lot of key offensive starters. They even had Carson Wentz banged up for a bit. Deshaun Jackson was probably the biggest name on that offense that was out. They even had some defensive people out as well. Eagles are pretty banged up as far as like having starters on the field, and the Lions were able to take full advantage of that. They were able to make a close game of it even after giving it away. And shockingly, Matt Patricia was able to get a win in Philly, 27-24. The Lions have yet to lose a game. They have a tie with the Arizona Cardinals from week 1, but they have not lost an actual game yet. So 2-0-1. The Lions, a bit of a shock right now. That's a team to look out for. I'm not ready to crown them as taking a division or being a wild card team, but they're certainly a team that's going to cause some problems for a lot of people. Panthers and Cardinals. This was this was a bit of a drudging in a way, because the Panthers had a rookie. They had a rookie quarterback, and quite frankly, he lit up the defense of the Cardinals. Surprisingly, lit up the defense of the Cardinals. The Cardinals at 0-2-1. Not much of a surprise. Their offense with Kyler Murray has yet to take off. Their defense is non-existent. The Panthers were able to take control of it even without Cam Newton on the field. They had a rookie quarterback carving up the secondary of the Cardinals. Goes to show how bottom of the league Arizona is at the moment at 0-2-1. And to be honest, I don't see too many positive things for them in the future. Giants and Buccaneers, and I'm going to say the upset. This is probably the upset of the day. The Buccaneers should have won this, because quite frankly, the Giants did everything they could to lose this game. And granted, great play by rookie Daniel Jones, who did get a touchdown with 1:21 left, ran it himself. But that Giants defense did not hold the Buccaneers back. The Buccaneers were able to throw a long, deep pass. They were able to drive down the field, get into chip shot field goal range, but their kicker shanked it. He shanked it, he choked, and he gave the game away. And quite frankly, this is a win that the Giants didn't deserve, but nonetheless, a win is a win. I know they'll take it. Unfortunately, it came at the cost of losing Saquon Barkley for about the next 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle injury. So, hey, you got your rookie QB, but you lost one of your best offensive weapons. So let's see how you do with that, Giants. Moving on, to LA, where the Chargers lose to the Texans 27-20 in a close battle. And really the story of this one here is Chargers should have won. Chargers gave it away. The Texans essentially shut down the Chargers in the second half, scoring 20 points, while the Chargers could only amass a field goal. Pretty disappointing at home to just get beaten like that, considering the majority of your fans don't even care about most of your home games anyway. That's not a good way to keep the fans in. Saints and Seahawks. Saints actually come away with a victory here, 33-27 over the Seahawks, which in a game it featured Russell Wilson running for his life, doing everything on offense with no resistance or help from the defense. The Saints with Teddy Bridgewater, they were able to get in the end zone. They were able to have a game where they could control the clock. They were managing things on offense. And quite frankly, even without Drew Brees, it still seemed like a game where Teddy Bridgewater was in firm control. He was never in any serious trouble. Even special teams actually stepped up with a 59-yard punt return for a touchdown to open up the game for the Saints. And from there, they just took firm control. And then in one of the Premier League games, the 49ers coming out 3-0 with a 24-20 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh, or should I say Schittsburg, has completely shit the bed. They've completely given up at this point. They have lost Big Ben for the year. They have no Antonio Brown. They have no Le'Veon Bell. Juju Smith-Schuster is doubled up, which means all the other receivers have chances to catch. But when you have receivers like Dante Moncrief on your team, not too many catches are going to be accumulated, and not too many scores are going to be accumulated. And as a result, the Steelers are now 0-3. And the 49ers are now 3-0 for the first time since 1998. Jimmy Garoppolo is actually elevating that team and making them better, which is what a lot of people anticipated, and now it's coming to fruition. And in the Sunday night game of the week in Cleveland, it looks like the hype was just that. It's all hype. The Browns are 1-2, but they get beaten by the Rams 20-13. It's a closer game than it looks on paper, but the Browns, quite frankly, are unorganized. They have all the talent in the world, but that talent doesn't know how to work together because everybody's so selfish. And the head coach is nothing more than a kiss ass that allows these players to walk all over them. Hence, there's no discipline, there's no structure, there's nothing. It's just a bunch of egomaniacs on one team trying to win a championship game. Hence why the Cleveland Browns are going to be the Cleveland Browns that we all know and love. They're going to find a way to screw it up. And in this game, that's exactly what they did. And when they face the Ravens next week, I see nothing more than the same from the Browns. They might make it an interesting game. It'll be interesting because of the trash talk. But as soon as they get on the field, I mean, it's going to be evident who the better team is. And it's not going to be Cleveland. And that brings us to the Monday night game, to the skull dragging of the week in Washington, D.C. Essentially a home game for the Bears with all the fans that turned up in D.C. 31-15, Chicago kicks the Redskins in the face. The Redskins drop to 0-3. And by the way, Redskins 2-18 in the last 20 Monday night home games. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's a reason I call them the Deadskins, folks. That franchise is pretty much R.I.P. We're talking about a zombie that refuses to stay in the corpse. This franchise is dead. And honestly, I don't anticipate them go anywhere but down. You would think once you hit rock bottom, you have anywhere but up. But the Redskins, they just continue to go down and continue to not care about being one of the worst franchises, not just in football, but in all of sports. I would hope for a turnaround, but when you're talking about the Redskins, that's just way too much to ask. And folks, with that being said, that is week 3 in a nutshell. Make sure you hit like, you hit subscribe. Let me know if your team won or lost, and let me know what you thought about the games this week. And I will be releasing the preview for week number 4 pretty soon. Be on the lookout for that. I appreciate you all for taking the time to listen, and I will be seeing you all very soon. Enjoy your week, and let's get ready for another football weekend coming up soon.